I excelled in the things that I loved. And I was like, well, that's why I was never picked up, because I wasn't naughty. I didn't have any like behavioural issues. I was extremely forgetful.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Like
Extremely forgetful.
I
was going to say.
Yeah. Exhibit A.
procrastination. So I would work so much better under a
forgetful.
a deadline. That's a perfect example of it. Welcome to That BJ Show. You may remember me from the first ever Wildcast show. Little C or Courtney.
Exactly, one of the OGs.
The OGs, yeah.
And another OG, Kate.
That's right. You know what? Actually, Kate was the first one. I'm not taking away your thunder.
Yeah.
All right. Courtney.
Courtney who?
Just calm down.
Little
Kate,
C.
Kate was the first person who came on as a fourth person on the podcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this whole setup of us doing 2 and 2
We are OGs.
so both of you are OGs in your own sense.
Yeah. This format wouldn't be possible if we didn't trial it on Kate and Sean.
Exactly.
I'm just the guinea pig.
Yeah.
I'm a guinea pig for a lot of things.
Hey, if it works, it works, all right? If it
does
fits,
work.
it sits. All right. Well, this is episode 19. Welcome.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of cool things, all from making new friends in your 30s, which I am not 30 yet, so
who's in
I
their
will...
30s?
I was like, I'm still 29.
fairly young. Yeah. I'm 30 soon.
28.
Yeah.
We're all on the cusp of 30. Yeah. Mentally, we're still 12, but physically, we're on the cusp of 30. Yeah.
Yeah. What else were we talking about, Ben?
A little bit of everything. So, Kato and Courtney obviously do train together as well.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure
do.
they have their little sessions where they talk during
we
sets
trained
and
together
stuff like that.
yesterday,
Yeah.
We talk more than we
We
train.
were
Yeah.
efficient yesterday.
Oh, man. I was sore that afternoon.
Yeah, my legs
Like,
are sore today, actually.
already.
Yeah.
Like, instant DOMs.
Did we do any legs yesterday?
Jay and I will just go to get a coffee or something. Let them have the camera for an hour or so.
Sounds good to
We
me.
don't need you. We've
I've
got this.
actually, you know what? I've actually trained with both of those two as well.
Yeah.
It's a hoot.
Yeah.
It sure is a hoot.
We're a vibe.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
yeah.
are a vibe.
It is. Yeah.
Yes.
Half the rewarding thing with training with people is obviously having a fun time too.
Yeah.
You know. And
I
if you
agree.
can't remember what the workout was, chances are you had a lot of fun doing it.
Exactly.
But if you
Yeah.
want a serious workout, like we're not.
Yeah, don't
We're
go
not your
with
people.
us.
Yeah. Well, so both of you are in more CrossFit stuff as well?
No, not anymore.
I didn't know
Because you
what's it
were in
called.
CrossFit for a bit, weren't you?
Yeah, we
Courtney?
both were for a little while.
You both
Yeah.
were? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All
My
right.
physique is not CrossFit worthy.
Is any...
Just long limbs. Wall balls are handy.
Don't talk to Courtney about wall balls.
However, no.
Yuck.
If you'll remember from the wildcard episode, wall
Yeah.
balls, yes, were the worst.
I think the question was, what exercise do you hate the most? And I'm pretty sure
Wobbles.
wall balls was Courtney's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind the odd
Yep.
wall ball.
And your one was any...
Gymnastics.
Gymnastic, yeah.
Yeah, which surprisingly Courtney is excellent at.
Yeah.
So we just
That's
palmed
why
off.
we
That's why it
worked
worked.
well.
That's
Exactly.
why it worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was so I love seeing these two guys train together because the amount of people that have come up to me since seeing both of you on different episodes and have said, "Oh, I know Kate from such and such,"
true.
or "Oh, I know Courtney from such and such." It's awesome. Sort of
Yeah.
thing too. A lot of people are like, "Oh, a such and such friend of mine used to be PT'd by Courtney back in the day," or
Do you know what I think about often? Sorry to go off topic,
No.
but how many people know you that you don't know them? Like I find I'm like, oh, I know that person because I followed that person on Facebook. They have no idea who I am,
Yeah.
but I know a lot about their life
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of like social media. I'm like, how many people know about my life
That I
I
don't
have
know.
no idea
Yeah.
who you are? I'm like, that's a little concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Try running a podcast.
Yeah.
You get people coming up to you like, hey, Jaden, what's going on? I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, guy.
Hello.
or they'll say a reference to an episode and think we'll get it immediately.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people I've spoken to in the last month?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and not to make that sound like we have big heads, because we do.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But yeah, 100%. I totally know what you mean. But you know, like I know people on social media as well that I feel like I know a lot about them. But you know, if you go up and say hello
Yeah.
to them, they're like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Like if I ran into them, I'd be like, oh, I know that person, but they don't know that I know them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm bad with names. I'm like, Hi.
No,
Yeah.
and if their
Yeah.
name's not their name
Yeah.
on Instagram, you're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
JD123.
Yeah.
He has a dog.
People know me from Humphrey. So a couple of weeks ago, Sean and I were doing the hill. And Humphrey obviously has an Instagram, which I haven't used recently. And big fluffy groodle, Jay, if you don't.
I was going to say,
I was like,
please explain.
Yeah, so Humphrey is a big fluffy groodle. He's
Yeah.
beautiful. And my first child. And anyway, Sean and I were doing the hill and I was walking both the dogs and Sean had Oakland on him. Anyway, this husky was coming towards us and both our dogs decided to have a go at the husky. Took me with them down the stairs, came tumbling down. Anyway, this chick walks behind me, never seen her in my life, and she's gone, was that Humphrey? And I've looked at her, I've gone, excuse me? Because Humphrey does no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah.
And she's gone, oh, Humphrey, you shouldn't do that to your mother, and kept walking. It's like,
No introduction.
what the fuck is this? She just huddled off. I was like, Humphrey, what are you doing in your spare time?
Does she follow Humphrey's Instagram page?
I didn't know who she was. So I couldn't like go on his followers and be like, who's the chick that does the hill at 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon?
Just start stalking everyone's
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah, it was so odd, but I was also just like, you're a famous boy.
Fist bump.
Nice.
It's
Goals
so odd
right
though.
there.
Townsville.
Do
Yeah.
you
Small
remember
world.
years ago, this is probably going way back 15 years, when you had the paper, when people could start texting in things to the editor, and there was an entire section on one of the pages where most of the time it was to the chick wearing the
yes.
black shirt
Yes.
at the gym,
Yeah.
rah, rah,
Text
rah.
the
Are you-
editor.
Yeah, so long
Yeah.
before like everything Townsville was on Facebook and text the editor
the editor,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that.
That was
Yeah, it literally
great.
was.
There was some tea in there.
Yeah.
I used to
Oh,
like
yeah.
reading that.
Yeah, basically, it was what Facebook is now, just through text in the
Literally.
newspaper.
Old school keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
that's a flashback.
friends in your 30s. We got some good friends.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
It hits different when you're 30 or approaching 30, on the cusp of 30.
Well, look, I need to explain. Obviously, I'm almost 29, and I can say that officially. I'm not one of those little, I'm nearly 13. I'm not 12. I'm almost 13.
Almost 30.
Yeah, almost 29.
Almost 30.
I have a kid too. I've gone through some shit, and I feel like I'm at the point where, like Jade said in her first episode, she's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And feels like, she's only 33, even though she's 33 now still. Anyway. I said back then as well, because we were talking about, in your 30s type of thing. So just a quick disclaimer, I'm not 30.
We get
Just
it.
putting it
You're
out.
not 30. Stop
Neither-
rubbing it in our face.
Neither are we.
Yeah,
That's
neither
actually
are
a
we.
flex, mate. That's
But I feel...
yeah, that's not a bad thing.
I feel like the shit that I have gone through and the fact that I'm a single father and everything, I might have some things to add to this. But otherwise, I'll just sit back and listen.
No, you can add in. Yeah,
Go on.
It's all valid.
I think it's very
Go.
relevant,
It's all valid.
regardless of where you are in your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I think
Oh, you go.
your mindset definitely like changes when you get a little bit older. Like I'm definitely not what I was like when I was 20. Like when I was 20, I gave a shit about what I looked like, who my friends were, like kind of like my reputation and stuff. Now I'm like, if you want to be my friend, be my friend.
Exactly.
If you don't, no skin off my back. Also,
Yeah.
can we make more friends? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about finding people that vibe with your energy, I think, which can be quite rare.
Yeah.
When you were young, like just talking to someone and getting along with them, it was like, this person's my friend. When
You watch kids in the playground.
yeah.
Exactly.
They're just like, oh, I like you.
Yeah,
Bang,
we'll
friends.
find- Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that now
No, you're so picky.
at all.
Everyone's so picky,
I think 'cause
which is good.
Time is so precious.
Yes. Yeah.
That I'm like, do I want to put that hour into that person or that afternoon or something? Like,
As you go along, you, like you said, you realize time is precious and you start to be really picky on who you want to invest time in because you're never getting that back.
exactly.
And then sooner or later, you're 37 and you have all these people that are sort of were friends at one point but are now acquaintances
Yeah.
who you've never had a falling out. It's just you're not close anymore.
Yeah.
Wish you well, but we don't necessarily need to continue like regularly catching up or whatever the case may be.
It is such an effort though, especially when you've got young children,
yeah.
to make an effort to keep like socializing with your friends.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
Yeah.
man, I'm tired. I've got 1,000 other things to do. But I've found if I don't prioritize like meeting up with like some friends, like I just go into like a shell.
Exactly. It's very easy.
And like I turn into like a homebody and I'm like, oh, I don't have any friends. Oh, maybe because you're not actually putting in the effort to catch up
then
with
you
people.
go into a spiral.
Yeah.
And then you feel bad that they think that you don't care anymore. But it's like reality, no, I care. It's just
I just honestly
I'm flat out doing life at the moment.
Literally.
It's so busy.
And it's hard, like especially after like having a kid as well. Like it's also hard, like you sort of like a bit of an identity crisis. It's almost like you're mourning who you were.
Oh yeah.
And then one of my girlfriends actually, then you're like welcoming a new self. So it's interesting. Like it's hard. I find it quite hard.
So like I've had babies 10 years apart and I feel like I've gone through it twice with like when I was younger, I found it a lot easier to have a baby and then like because I had a very solid friend group and there was a couple of other people having babies at the same time. So we all kind of like did it together. This time I don't have that same solid friendship group that I did have and I was very, very comfortable with who I was before I had a baby. Like I had my routine. I could go to the gym. I was sleeping at nighttime, like, you know, like everything was how I wanted it. And then this baby came along and it's just shaken up everything. Like I don't have as much time to train. I don't have as much time for my friends. I don't have as much time for myself. And I'm like, I went through a real phase of being really sad that I didn't get to do those things anymore. But then like she'd come running over to me and like giggle. I'm like, oh, okay, it's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah.
But it is such a juggle and like a battle of like trying not to resent your child because you now missing out on all of the things that you were used to and then like trying to find joy in starting new things like in like having a toddler again is insane.
Yeah.
But it was really hard, really hard going through that transition a second time when I was older. I found it a lot harder when I was older than when I was younger.
Yeah. When you have a child, obviously when you hold that child, you now know what the true feeling of love is and all that sort of stuff. Like nothing else, like everything you thought mattered doesn't matter when you have a child.
Literally.
So this is more a question for all three of you really, but when you then discover that, does it then put into perspective how unimportant certain things were that you were holding on to, thinking that's what a meaningful life is, you know? Like if you had a routine where you just catch up with someone, say once a month because you figured, well, we're friends, we need to do this. When you hold a child, your own child, do you then realize, you know what, purposely putting time aside to do something I thought I had to do isn't really that important anymore?
Yeah.
Does it sort of put things into perspective
100%.
like that? Like it highlights what actually is important versus what you thought was important just for the sake of life.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
I never thought I'd feel that until I had Oakland.
Yeah.
Like life-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I wasn't the most maternal person. Like Sean was the one who was like, let's have a baby. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
I remember.
He's so clucky. Oh my God. And
Sean's a great dad too, by the way.
he is. He's
just watching him last night.
Oh,
like,
he's
just,
incredible.
What a dude.
He is the best.
What a dude.
Yeah, what a dude.
And then while I was pregnant, I was just like that's why we found out the gender, the main reason, because I was like, I need to bond with this baby somehow. Like by finding the gender, I was like, hey, little boy, like, you know, rah, rah. But the whole time I was like, how am I going to feel about this? Like, yada, yada. And he came out and I was just like, oh my God. Well, initially I was like, oh my, hello.
Yeah.
Hi. Like, I think if Sean videoed, my reaction was just like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And then, then we got home, we're just like,
Now what?
now what?
Yeah, nothing's different. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, nothing's the same. Sorry.
Well,
yeah.
Nothing is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now, like, he's amazing. Yeah. Like, so much love.
Yeah. Yeah, kids can do that to you, eh?
Yeah.
So even like it goes to show time and time out that no matter what your personality is, whether you're introverted, extroverted, whether you're very voracious or whatever word you want to describe yourself as, right? As soon as you have kids, I reckon for the majority of people, it changes them so much on the inside.
Yeah.
And just, it really shows where your priorities are at.
Yeah.
Obviously, some people don't handle that very well. And some people do handle it really well. And
but I think it's like then also taking like a step back and appreciating friends who are parents.
100%.
And I know what I was like when I was that friend who didn't have kids, and they'd, obviously I'd be like, I don't get why they're so routine orientated or have to do it certain times.
You get it now.
And I totally get it. Like a few girlfriends have actually been like, I'm so fucking sorry that I was such a selfish asshole. Like
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Shit, I hope that's not me.
I was
I'm that dude that's like, what are these people complaining about? Tired? What do you mean? Just get up and go to the gym. What's so hard about
but
that?
you feel awful because like when they're in like the trenches, like I didn't know how to support them because I'd be like, hey, like here's a coffee or something, or I'll like, you know, pat your baby or something. And now like I'm going through it or went through it, and they've brought around food and what can I do and help settle Oakland. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is the shit I should have done that like you don't know until you're there. Whereas like friends now having kids, I'm like, I know what to do.
Also, I don't know if you felt this, but when I was like having a hard time, like when Lucy was little, I didn't necessarily want help. I wanted to be like, I can do this. Like, I'm like, I'll catch up with you for a coffee and that will help me more just talking to someone than having you come over and like cook for me or like settle the baby. Because I don't know, I was in a mindset of like, I know how to do this, I can do this. And I just felt like if someone was trying to help me, it would make me feel more of a failure. Yeah. Which I might be alone in that. I'm not sure. But I'd be like,
oh, I get that. Yeah.
Like, why are they doing that for me? Like, I should be able to do that like without any help.
Yeah.
And so
I think in the back of my mind, I definitely felt like that was like, I was just like, oh, like they can do it so much better than me. But like I needed the help. Like I was just like, I'm so exhausted.
I was so resistant to it.
Were you?
Oh, and I needed to just swallow my ego and accept the help. Like even from family. Like Sean's family came up and that like his mum was like cleaning the house and I was almost resenting her cleaning the house because I'm like, are you saying my house isn't clean?
Yeah.
Like,
I get that.
And I'm like, no, she's just trying to help. But I'm like, I can do it. Like,
yeah.
No, it makes sense.
Put the vacuum down. Like,
Let me do
Step
it.
away from the vacuum.
And I was, and I didn't like that I was having that reaction because I'm like, just let people help you.
Yeah.
But I've always been like that. Like I've always been like
hard.
And asking for help and accepting help. I'm just like, nope, I got this. Even if I don't got this, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like,
accepting help is such a hard thing across every aspect though.
Yeah.
Like even for people who don't have, not necessarily me, but even people who have kids who might just be struggling with maintaining a work-life balance. It's like as soon as you ask someone for help, people think they're weak for asking for help back or at least accepting it.
What's the saying?
I don't know where it came from.
Weak to speak up, or something. Yeah. Mental health awareness.
Yeah.
A friend of mine has just had a bub too, and like I feel bad because I can ask her anything I can do. And she's like, "You can't breastfeed. You can't give him my sleep back." And it's like, well, I can't. I'm sorry. I won't ask next time. She says that as a joke, but it's like I can't really do anything apart from just ask to offer a hand. But in reality, what can someone do?
Just offering sometimes is enough to like
just being there
like,
to listen.
Thanks for thinking of me. Like that's more than enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It's tough. Like, I mean, I couldn't imagine having a newborn, so I can't. I can't
Sean
sort
wants
of
to go around too.
You know? Oh, really?
Not me. Like maybe the shop's closed.
No. Oakland needs a friend.
He does need a friend.
I just keep thinking of
brother or
being
sister.
like pregnant with a toddler. Like,
and that's it. I'm just like, oh.
What's the most mischievous? It is mischievous, isn't it?
Mischievous. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Mischievous.
Age to deal with.
I feel like I can.
Yeah, that's a court question.
The baton is over to Courtney.
3.
Yeah. 3 to a certain age or just 3?
Look, 6 months to 5 is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's into everything.
But I don't know if this, like, we had a lot going on when my son was 3. Like, there was marriage breakdowns and houses getting flooded and we moved a lot. So I feel like that might have come into play, and we now know that he's got ADHD. So this kid was just like ping, 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 ping. And
how was he?
Ping. He was very,
he sounds like a pinball machine.
He honestly was. He was like an Energizer buddy and then he would crash and sleep.
Yeah.
But he was so defiant at 3 because he could talk. He could tell me what he wanted. He could tell me what he didn't want. And if it was something that like let's go brush your teeth. It was World War III every single night. Like, didn't matter how I approached it. So 3, when they can talk properly and they know what they want and what they don't want, it's not the terrible 2s, it's the terrible 3s.
Yeah.
Do you think it's harder as parents to make friends with people who have kids or people who don't have kids?
I think it's
Or
the
is there
same.
pros and cons and it all comes down to the person?
I feel like...
Because I look at it, if you were to look at people with kids, you can bond with them over that experience and you know what each other goes through.
Yeah.
But then the people who don't have kids have the freedom and can work their life around seeing you more.
See, a lot of friends I've got have, well, obviously Oakland's sort of an age where like I'm taking him out meeting other mums. Yeah. Like a lot of my friends, like Court, for example, like I've known before I've had kids or like before you had Lucy, and other friends as well. So like we've had a mutual bonding on other things and then the kids have been like an added bonus essentially. Whereas like, because I'm not one that wants to just sit about and talk about my kid the whole day. Like that's just not me. Like I've got other things in life that I'm interested in and another identity besides mum that I'm starting to reestablish.
Good.
And I'm back to work in a month so I can put my hat back on. But like I just feel like I don't want to be just a mum. Like I want to be more than that and bond over other things. So I think, that's a nice friendship that you can talk about other things besides you can talk about your kids and you talk about training or, other things. So,
the best place to meet new friends is definitely a social gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because I work in them, but when we went to Dialogue, I made a heap of good friends there and met my best friend after the age of 30. And
that's where I met. That's where I've met a lot of people as well.
Yeah, and I never thought, like in my 20s, I thought my friends were my friends, and I didn't really see me getting a bunch of new friends like from then. But when I met Billy, it was like we were soulmates. Like we were just like attracted to each other, and I was like, I
love Billy, man. She's such a cool
the best.
She's a vibe.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank God for this gym, because if I hadn't decided to go to this gym and she hadn't decided to go to this gym, like we never would have met and had that mutual like love for the gym and stuff like that.
I met Ellie at Dialogue.
And we've been besties since, and I've never had a friend like Billy before that. Like growing up, I've had good friends and what I thought were best friends, but it's like it was different. I don't know if it's because we're older.
Yeah.
That it's a more mature relationship.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful that I got to meet her there.
So that's a good point. Like if you make friendships in your 30s, you sort of have that level of maturity where you can pick out a good person that's right for you, as opposed to like we were saying before, like if you're a kid, you just go with anybody.
Yeah.
Who could turn out to be a dickhead later on, you know what I mean? Like, but when you're older, you sort of have almost like this checklist of whether everyone fits the character that you want to hang around.
Yeah, and then I've still got probably like a handful of girlfriends from high school that we've known since like grade 8 or grade 9 or something, and they're still like some of my closest friends.
Yeah.
Like hands down. We've all grown obviously since we're, how old are you in
I'm 29. What do you
13?
mean?
13, 14, 15.
So that's like almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, so to have them is amazing, and they're all awesome. And we're all so different. Like, polar opposites, but we all love each other.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah. But even going back to like meeting new people in new places, like for you guys especially, or for you, Courtney, meeting someone in the gym is a good place for you to meet someone, because that's like, you love.
Yeah, you already have that mutual interest.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
It's still hard though, I find.
It is, especially because if you're coming into a gym by yourself and people have already kind of like established their cliques and their groups and
I think I have a resting bitch face, but I actually
I've been told I have one too.
Yeah,
I thought you were a bitch when I met you. I'm like,
What are you looking at me for?
I was looking through you.
I've had it from him.
But honestly, when I used to work at a commercial gym, I thought I was this friendly, bubbly, like happy-go-lucky PT.
No,
apparently I had a major resting bitch face, because I would like get to know people in the gym, and I would, not kidding you not, about 4 or 5 people have said, I really thought you were going to be a bitch. And I'm like,
really?
So from that day, I'm like, everywhere I go, I'm like, hi.
Well, hand on heart, I never thought that about you. I just thought you were always tired.
I probably was. When I met you,
PTs are like clients.
And when I met you, I think I had a 2 or 3 year old. Like,
you were dragging Tate around. I was like, she's tired.
I'm tired.
Courtney is tired.
It's not resting bitch face, it's tired.
Yeah, there was no. Well, we know how Kate and I met. There's a whole story on that schmozzle.
Go back to episode.
The friend request is still sitting in Facebook. I reckon.
I should have literally just unfriended them. There you go. I'm still sitting there.
But it's funny you say you guys met your best friends at CrossFit. Like most of my crew I hang around now, I've met through fitness as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, both of you, for instance, like through CrossFit and fitness.
Yeah, exactly. And like so I grew up in like a church environment. So I don't go to church now, but I grew up in that environment, and I met so many of my friends through there. But I tell you what, the ones who stuck around are the ones who really like dug in with what needs I had, because they meet my needs and I meet their needs. So and like we have the same dislikes and the same likes. So for example, my three best mates, that have stuck around, they all enjoy hunting and fishing, any sort of photography and videography stuff. They're always there and they're always keen to have a chat. Some of them have kids, some don't, but like they stuck around because they get who I am and I get who they are, but we have that same same likes and understanding of what life is for each of us.
Yeah.
See, I hate using the term like best friend or best friends.
Yes.
Because I have so many special friendships with so many people that like I never want to like put someone on a pedestal around over someone else kind of thing. Because I know that I've been hurt before or felt like a bit like stabbed in the chest when someone's been like, oh, my best friend. And I'd be like, oh, like I consider you a really close friend. So am I like over compensating this relationship than what you think it is kind of thing? So
Are you saying I'm not your best friend?
you're a close friend.
You're top 10. You're top 10, Courtney.
Because I have close friends.
This is the MySpace list where you sort of number. You're at 7 or 8.
What this is really about is us talking about friends over 30s is Kate saying that she has lots of friends. Guys.
No, but it's like I have like, I've just got lots of diverse friendship groups.
Yeah, for sure.
And everyone brings a different element into my life that like I really cherish, and I would never put someone above the other. Yeah, kind of thing. So
it's funny when you say that Kate's got lots of friends. There's been so many times when I've been on Instagram and I'd be like, there'll be like a story. I'm like, oh, Kate's friends with them. Oh, Kate's friends with them. And I'm like, she's got like, there's like 3 or 4 different like friendship groups. And but Kate's always just like,
hey.
That's good though. That's a testament to character.
Like, exactly, 100%.
A testament to a character.
But that's why like I found it really hard like for our wedding, choosing bridesmaids, because I said to Sean, I was literally like, we have none, or I want like literally 15 girls up there with me, because like I don't want to. So I kind of went from like I chose a girlfriend from our like school group friends as like she's the token person from the school group friends, and that's kind of how I sort of did it. And then I had friends involved in other ways. So I had like a different friend for a witness, had a couple of girlfriends read a poem, I had a different girlfriend MC our wedding. So that was my way of like being like, I love you and I want you involved in our day, but in a different way kind of thing. So
whereas I'm the opposite. I'm like, hard. I don't have enough friends to pick a bridesmaid.
Fuck off. That's such a lie.
Considering like everyone I know, or every second person I know knows you.
Exactly.
Yeah, knows me. But that's what I'm saying. Like close friends.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it's your day.
I do have close friends that I could choose from, but like, I'm like,
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That actually, and it's funny though, because
that's why like, Ben, can you pick up the dogs?
That's right.
And the groomsmen.
I was on Humphrey duty that day. That's right. I was chauffeur.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I was invited to their wedding, just to carry the fucking dogs.
It was your way of being involved. Can you come pick up the dogs with their tuxedos? Drive my car, pick up the groom. You pick up the groom and the groomsmen.
Yeah. I did a good job.
You did. Then you were a handbag bitch for a while.
Good job.
We need someone to hold the bags. Ben.
Yeah. I'm your man. Yeah. Made me feel special, actually.
Good job.
It was
a big responsibility, actually.
Yeah. Everything else could go wrong as long as where's Humphrey? It's like Ben's got him. I've left that duty to the responsible one who doesn't drink, and it's all right.
The responsible one.
Yeah. It was a big
I'll say that loosely.
Yeah.
I can't get my own life in order, but I can maintain a dog for a wedding.
That's funny.
That's so funny. Actually, speaking of getting your life back in order, go back to having kids and making friends and all that sort of stuff. When it comes to gym, what do you guys like with having kids now? Especially you. Sorry, Kate.
You there.
Because I said you because I was pointing at you, but then in the back of my mind, I'm always like, this is a podcast. I need to address people by their names. But then I had a brain fart because my brain's thinking about all these things at once, and I'm like, hang on.
Hey, you.
Next minute, 5 minutes has gone along, and Jay's just sitting there staring at nothing.
Anyway, great podcast host. Kate, what's especially for you? You know, you've just had Oakland at the start of the year, end of last year. End of last year. What's it like now? You know, you're trying to get back into more working out. You're about to get back to your job. I know you've worked out pretty much majority of this whole season, right? As you said last time. But what's that really like for you now that Oakland is, how old is he? 8?
He's 9 months.
9 months
this
now.
week.
Yeah, I can do maths.
9 month old.
9 month old. So he's almost walking.
Yeah, he's into everything. He's like crawling. He's pulling himself up. Like he's
Let the fun begin.
literally. Yeah.
Yeah, but what's that lifestyle like now? Because you're back at gym all the time, obviously.
Croatia saved my life because for a while when I was at CrossFit was obviously I don't have a crate, which is fine. Like I think it's awesome you can bring your kids, have on the side of the floor with you. But I was like, I just need this hour to get back to me routine, trying to train. And it's nice having them with you, but like you're constant, like he was there for a while, like early days, but like he'd cry and I'd be like, oh, put a dummy in, or, you know, give him a bottle and like that's 20 minutes. Then you're there for like 2 hours and it's just too long. So Croatia to Tora has like saved my life. Thank God. And the girls, because you kind of go like, oh, I'm leaving him with, and like, especially on school holidays, there was like, I think 10 kids up there. And I was like,
yep.
And bigger kids as well. Like, you know, I trust like Tate's age because he's aware, but like 4-year-olds and 6-year-olds that are just like, like, you know, running around like crazy.
Yeah.
But that saved me. But now I'm back, I go back to work in a month. So it's going to be a whole new routine. So I'm like, I love our get up when he gets up, go to the gym for 9 o'clock, drop him off for the hour, go into our morning, get on with our day kind of thing. But in 3 or 4 weeks, I'm back to work. So it's a whole different, and it's shift work. So that's a whole different routine that I'm going to have to get used to. I'd like to say I'd train at home because we are set up at home to train. But like, again, having him there, and now he doesn't want to sit in a bouncer for 45 minutes, whereas like 6 months ago he was happy to do that. So watch this space.
Yeah.
But I've been very grateful that like week 2, like 2 weeks postpartum, like Sean was obviously working at the gym. So I was like, I just want to come in and do a walk. And you'd have people being like, oh, you shouldn't be moving. You should be watching yourself. And it's like, it is my mental health. Like I need to I'm walking at like, you know, 4 kilometers an hour or something ridiculous, like just moving, and then like light dumbbell stuff, like 3 kilo dumbbell stuff.
People are so judgy.
They are literally. And it's just like, I know my body, you know, yes, I'm in pull-ups underneath my tights.
Yes, my bladder's weak at the moment.
But you don't know that. And like I'm moving so lightly. And also, like, I think now when he watches us train, or like the girls at Croatia like holding me over the window, he can see what's going on. Like I like him being in that environment, and can see what's going on, that we're staying active and live a healthy lifestyle. So
but do you think that you had to really cut back the expectations of how much you can work out?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also how many times,
and expectations of your body, really. Like I'd have to say I'm probably training back to where I was like pre-pregnancy almost. Like I'm lifting better than I used to because I've been consistent. But
I have not.
But your physique is all fucked up. Like, you know, it's fine that people are like,
things are
you
torn.
look so great postpartum, you know, you're looking really good, and like that's really nice to hear, but it's like, you know, that
you haven't seen me with my clothes off.
Yeah, literally your inner self is just like, but like things are a bit weaker and feel different and very different.
I don't think in all honesty, I don't think your body ever goes back.
No.
To like, because now I get like hip pain when I squat and like all these other things that have come up. But
literally.
Yeah.
My knees hurt.
My knees hurt so bad.
Literally. I know. And my back hurts. And like it's bad, but like from holding Oakland, like my wrists are sore and like my elbows. Like I can't hold like kettlebells a certain way or dumbbells. Like I can't do like certain things because I'm in pain. Like the trainer looks at you and they're just like, what's wrong with you? It's like 15 kilos. And it's like, I cannot actually lift this. Like it fucking hurts so much. And you can't, your elbows are sore. Yeah, righto. Your elbows are sore.
Is it Pete?
My elbows are fucking sore, okay? Like, believe me. Like,
I dropped a barbell on my foot a couple of weeks ago and I couldn't run, right? My foot was blue, like bruised and blue.
Dear.
And I wasn't running and Pete's like, oh, look at that. The trainer not even running. And I was like, you want to come a bit closer and say that?
Yeah.
oh, I broke my toe.
Oh, that was
literally.
Just seeing that.
Walked outside. Sean was
Sean
was playing rope with the boys, and Oakland was out there, and I've just gone like douche, and I've looked down, and I'm like, it fucking hurt, and my toe, no joke, was like this.
Oh.
It was, and I've gone like, I've lived over, and she was like, what's wrong? And he's like,
do you still have that photo?
Yeah.
We'll say,
it is
give
so
it to Jay.
messed up. Yeah, I'll send it to
edit
you.
it on the YouTube
It
clip.
is
Just
so
boom,
messed
right
up.
in the middle.
And I was like, he's like, maybe it's just dislocated. And I was like, no, man, this is fucking wrong.
Yeah. Did Sean say maybe if you forgot, maybe if you actually didn't forget your fucking shoes this time?
Literally. And anyway, so ED, and then obviously I couldn't run for a while. But then on Friday, I was holding Oakland, and so it's like probably like 4 months since I broke my toe. I was holding Oakland, and Sean goes to give him his Yeti, drops it on the broken toe. And he was, and Pete's like, sorry, man, like you're gonna hear me. I was like, yeah, he is. It's like, why the fuck would you give him a Yeti?
Yeah.
That shit's heavy.
A good water bottle.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Can we go back to like training with kids?
100%. Yeah, I want to hear your take
Sorry,
on
I
it, Courtney.
segued
Because
them into-
I've had a very different experience than Kate.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I work in the gym. If I'm there from 4:30, whatever, the last thing I want to do is stay and do a session. I'm like, get me out of here. I've had enough. I don't want to see that program again.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come back this afternoon and do it. But if I'm not working, I'll like try my best to get there. But my motivation has been so low, and I think it's because I'm so tired. I'm like, because Lucy's still not sleeping through the night. Like she's 15 months old, girl still waking up through the night. And I'm like, I could spend an hour at the gym or I could try and get some sleep. Like as soon as Lucy goes to sleep, I'm like, good night. I'm like, and I also have a job that I do at home. So I'm like, I could put more effort into the job that I do from home or I could go to the gym. And I've always got something that's more important.
Yeah.
But then towards the end of the week, I'm like, I wish I had have just trained.
Yeah.
I wish I had have just trained because I know that I would now feel better at the end of the week having been consistent in my training than being like, oh, I'll get a little bit of sleep here. Oh, I'll do a little bit of work here. It's like productive, but it's not.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
And I'm like, oh, I just want to be consistent. I want to kick myself up my own bum and be like, just go and do it because I know every time I do it, I feel great afterwards.
Yeah.
But holy moly, I'll negotiate with myself 100 times over to not go.
And hearing you say that, that's sort of where I was asking that question before. Was once you have that child, do you realize that this is now more important than anything else?
Yeah. And that's going to be my problem when I go back to work because I finish at 3:30. In my mind, I'll be like, I should go to 4:30 class. And the other part will be like, but you haven't seen Oakland like since last night. So then I'll go home and not train.
Yeah.
So that'll be a bit of a I'll
girl.
feel that.
Yeah.
Literally, I'll be like, oh, I haven't seen him, and then I get home at 5:30, 5:45. He goes to bed at 6:30.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I haven't seen him for 24 hours.
There are
Feel
days
bad.
when I do like a double shift, like work morning and afternoon. Lucy goes to daycare. I will not see her
Yeah, it's sad.
the whole day.
Yeah.
So on those days, I'm like, I hope you wake up tonight.
Yeah.
I can give you a little late night cuddle.
Yeah, sniff you.
Yeah.
Sniff your baby.
I'm actually discovering that people sniffing babies is a legit thing.
We always sniff over.
Yeah, there's a scent,
Smells
right?
so good.
Yeah.
It smells amazing.
Yeah, having known someone who's just given birth, like the amount of people who like, oh, can I have a smell of your baby? I was like, what the fuck?
Well, just the other night, like Lucy woke up and I like smelled her. And I was just like, she's not going to have this for very long.
I
like
know.
that baby smell. And I'm like, I just want to remember. I'm like, it's so creepy, but
I could our kid's going to watch this back in like 20 years. Like, our mums are fucking weird.
No, I've got a funny story with my 11-year-old. Yeah. So we're in the car like listening to music and like it was a good song and it was like Poppy. Anyway, every couple of seconds it'd be like bam, there'd be like a beat that hits, and I'd be hitting like a new dance move like every time I did it. And he's like, "No, Mum," and then I dabbed, and he goes, "Oh, Mum, that is so 2018." And I was like,
Seriously.
I could imagine him saying that too.
That's so 2018. And I was like, the sass on you. And
Oh my God.
And then I was like, just you work. So he had rugby training that night.
Yeah.
And I like always like muck around with him. And I was like dancing around. He's like, Mum, don't. And I was like, bam, hit a,
You would too.
hit a dab at the rugby field, and he's like, "Oh, mum," and he just like, I'm like, I've lived for these days.
Yeah.
I
So
can't,
good.
I
Start
can't wait to
embarrassing
that
my
dorky
11-year-old.
mum. Yeah,
So good.
Sean will be the dorky dad, though.
he will
I
be.
reckon.
Yeah. He'll be the coach.
Yeah.
Guaranteed he'll be the coach.
Yeah.
He'll be like with the hat on and like he can just, and his Crocs and socks and
Yeah.
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 Dorky dad.
Yeah, he will be.
Love that.
He'll live for it.
So I was going to ask Courtney a question. So with you, what you were just saying before, I think back to a couple of episodes ago when I was talking about when I was training all the time because I thought I had to be the best CrossFitter or martial artist or whatever. And then when you get older, you realize that you just wasted so much time on something that isn't important. And the stuff I lost because of that, whether it be friendships or relationships, because I prioritized something that I thought I should be doing more so than what I probably shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if you were to prioritize training more, that later on you might be like, oh, maybe I missed too much of my child growing up because, or it's one of those things you'd never really.
I think there's like a balance, like
Yeah.
looking after yourself
Yeah.
and then looking after your child and like being there for your child.
Yeah.
And they go hand in hand. Like if you're not looking after yourself, you're not going to be a great parent. Like,
Yeah.
like I find
Yeah.
if I haven't trained much, I'm irritable.
Yeah.
I'm cranky. I'm like, oh, I don't like my body. I'm like, well, you haven't been training. And like, you know, I'm sleep deprived, so I'm not eating great because I'm like, where's the sugar? I'm like, I need that, like, I need that like energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely a balance, and I definitely am not finding that balance at the moment. I'm definitely more family than I am training.
Yeah.
Or more work, family, and training's kind of on the back burner at the moment. And when I do train, I feel like being one of the trainers, there's like eyes on you when you train at your gym.
Yeah, it's a standard almost.
Do you get nervous when you have to coach?
Oh yeah, I have the worst social anxiety when I jump up in front of
You wouldn't be
everyone.
able to tell.
Oh really?
No.
You do so well. Yeah.
No, and
but I
like-
said to Sean, I was like, do you get nervous? He's like, no.
Oh, I do.
I was like,
No.
how do you, like yesterday he briefed like 50 people. I was like, I'd be shitting myself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but it's his jam. He loves it.
Yeah.
Oh, once I'm in it,
Yeah.
but like when like class is just about to start and there's like 20 people standing in front of you and
You
you're
know,
like,
you have to usher them all up.
Excuse me, guys.
and today's strength day, am I going to do this? And
Yeah.
then I'm like, any questions?
Yeah.
And they're like,
What? You want us to hurt?
Yeah.
but no, like when I am training there, I do feel like there's eyes on me. And if I'm not like lifting heavy or like doing things properly, like I always do things properly, but I don't do heavy squats anymore. I don't do heavy deadlifts anymore because I just don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be the strongest person in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm literally just trying to like make sure I can still bend down and pick my children up.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And there was a comment made by someone saying like, oh, is that all she's lifting? And I'm just
What?
like, and I was just like,
Oh.
Fuck that.
Who were they? Name and shame.
oh no.
Let's fuck them up.
And like, I don't think she knew that I heard
How
her.
much are you lifting?
Yeah.
I don't think she knew that I heard her. So now like when I'm like lifting, I'll like sometimes be like, yeah, I'm not like aiming to be the strongest, and I'll make it vocal that I'm like, I'm training for functionality,
Yeah.
not for big boy strength. Like I don't have an ego in my lifting anymore.
Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to want to be like, oh, I can clean and jerk 50 kilos. Like I can, you know, not
I do with my daddy.
Yeah.
I've got such an ego with my deadlift.
Yeah, and like now
I will
I'm
hold
It's a
on.
good deadlift though.
Yeah.
It's a good
I
weight.
have to admit, it's a good weight.
Yeah.
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 Do you mind sharing?
For a tall person too.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, tall people
Yeah,
struggle
for a
with
tall
deadlifts.
person too. It's a good weight.
My PB is 130.
Nice.
yeah.
Date me at
Damn.
125
That's awesome.
Yeah.
the other week.
Yeah.
Wow.
we won't talk about.
I was
my
happy
PB.
with that.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. So
But-
PB deadlifts
J.
is the only
Yeah.
thing I want to be egotistically about.
Yeah, go you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you think that
everything else.
do you think that it's actually like especially as PT, you're a PT as well? I can't
I'm a
remember
nurse.
because I know you're a nurse, but have you? I can't remember if you did. Anyway, as a PT and as somebody who does go into the gym frequently, wife of another PT, do you think it's actually okay for us to just accept the fact that shit happens, life happens, we change our goals all the time,
100%.
right?
Fuck yeah.
Like, because Ben was saying, he thinks that now he's wasted all that time. Which
Yeah.
I know you say you don't, you didn't waste it, you don't regret it, but at the same time, you're like, I could have been doing so much more. With my life.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
And like even for me, I mean, my goals have changed as well. I'm wanting to go on big backpack hunting hikes, like
awesome.
so like 3 to 5 days at a time.
That's
Fuck
cool.
yeah.
In the
That's
future.
cool.
So when I'm looking at doing those sorts of things, I'm going to be looking at doing 20 to 30 Ks walking every day.
Yep.
And that's with a big, heavy backpack on.
Yeah, do it.
And I've done a few, I've done Hinchinbrook Island. I've done that one before. That was a fucking awesome hike. Love that hike. Highly recommend it.
We did that in grade 10.
It's such a
They
good
gave
hike.
us a campus and
Couple of years ago then, Kate.
Island.
Couple of years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I've expressed this on the podcast quite a few times, but I used to go to the gym all the time, but in this last year, I'm just like, I have had too much on. So I've started stripping everything back. I got that bike inside there, and now I just go on that bike 5 days a week for only 30 minutes, and it just keeps my legs activated.
Yeah.
I do some push-ups, so keep my upper body activated. I make sure I'm out walking all the time. I take any opportunity I can to walk, but it's like, I don't want to go to the gym anymore because that for me, that's my practical functionality. My functionality of how much I can lift or walk or do whatever it is can I go on the backpack hunt? Can I pick up my daughter, from the ground and throw her around? She's 6 years old. She's like fucking massive now.
Yep.
But, can I do that sort of stuff? So,
And that's what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly
heard
what
that
it
comment.
Yeah.
Kate would be like,
I would have been like, are you fucking right?
yeah.
Yeah. Kate's that friend you need to stand up
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, because
She
I won't
will-
say anything.
yeah.
I'm like,
She
okay.
will give violence if it needs to be.
We were in Singapore
Yes.
2 weeks ago.
I knew this would start
and
this.
Here we go.
people are such assholes. And I was standing like this, and it was crowd, I have to admit, but I don't have the biggest wide span. Anyway, I was standing like this with one hand, and I had Oakland in the pram, my mum, my aunt, and this guy, no joke, like just to get past me to the train, walked past, like full on doofed me, like this way. And I had everything in me to just be like, you're fucking right. Anyway, I didn't. But in my inner,
But she saw red.
my
She's going red loud, ladies and gentlemen.
but I did get up someone because they were like in a 4, they would have been like early 20s. And there was 4 of them. They just got off like off the cable car, like giggling and not paying any attention. And they tripped over Oakland's pram and like sent the pram that way. And I was like, "Are you fucking right? You just hit my pram." I was
Mama bear.
Yeah, I was that mum.
Yeah.
But just people fuck me off. Honestly, just like social awareness is. Yeah, that was complete tangent. But I am that friend.
You're the friend that if I don't like my meal, but can you send it back for me?
Yeah. This steak's medium. I asked for medium
I
rare.
don't want to send it back.
I'm not rude about it because I also I don't want people to think that I'm an asshole. But there's a time and a place to just be like, hey, that wasn't nice. Like people need to be pulled into line to be like, seriously?
Yeah.
Like not be a complete cunt about it.
No,
Excuse
and you
my
are.
French, but
As a close friend, I can say you're firm but fair.
yeah.
You value respect and morals.
And that's it. It's respect.
And
That's the key.
you adhere to it.
Yeah, but it's just
Yeah.
like that's a complete unnecessary comment. Like, who cares what you're lifting? It's your training.
And
Like-
I'm sure that there are girls that when they lift heavier than me, like, oh, I'm lifting heavier than the trainer. I'm like,
Yeah, but who cares?
It's like, let's see your handstand walk down.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Courtney comes out.
But like all
boom,
for pushing,
100
like
meters.
yesterday, I was like, keep below this. Like you got it. Like push someone. Don't just like bring them down for not lifting heavy enough. Because then like who knows if she's that person who's like, I'm not going to come now because it's too intimidating. They don't, if you don't have confidence in your training.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
a real shit thing to say.
Yeah. And
Bad person.
yeah, we will find you. We have a set of skills.
I will find you.
Best Liam Neeson voice. But you got to find your why, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And sometimes your why just changes.
Exactly. And that's fine. Like walking is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I, when I was living overseas, I went and did Everest Base Camp. So training for that, I was in the gym because it was in London. So I had the backpack on with the breathable masks. Obviously, the altitude's difference in Nepal, and was like just had a backpack on, walking on the treadmill. I think on the what's that thing called, the stepper,
Yeah.
to get used to it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because again,
Yeah.
I think that goes
Yeah.
that hamster wheel thing. Because it's like 20, 25 kilometers a day for like 13 days.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot. And I was like, I don't walk this much. I walk to a tube
Yeah.
and walk
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
my office. Like
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good on you.
It's awesome fun.
Yeah, good
I
on
love
ya.
it. I love it.
That's
I'm actually
so good.
Yeah, I'm actually somewhat used to it because I've been up to the Herbert region, which is like the river up at Ingham, so North Queenslanders. Where Ingham is, that big river that goes all the way up into the gorge. Yeah, I've walked like up and down that all the time
So
doing
good.
fishing. Yeah, it's awesome.
You know what song I keep thinking of when you're like hunting, fishing? It's like hunting, fishing. It just keeps like every time you're like, I really like hunting, fishing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pans to Courtney's mind and it's just that song on repeat.
The monkey with the cymbals.
Yeah. I think there's a name for it, Courtney, actually.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, just where you go off on that little tangent. Maybe ADHD. Or, I definitely feel it. That's my mind a lot of the time.
Well, you know what? Since being told that I have ADHD, like, I know it's like seems to be like the in trend thing now. Like everyone's got ADHD.
Yeah.
But it has unlocked so many like realizations in me. Like,
When things make sense, right?
so much more sense. Like, one of the big things with it is rejection sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggled with that a lot going through friendships in high school. And I remember being like, I would do anything and everything to please my friends because I didn't want them to not like me.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it in my son. So, he's like, I'll give him money for tuck shop. And he's like, oh, Mum, I bought this person, something. And like, I did this for this person because I didn't want, I can just see him like trying so hard to like please these people. And I want to just shake him and be like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like in the long run, it doesn't matter. They'll like you or they won't. It's not going to matter what you do. But I guess I have to go through it like
to understand,
on themselves. But they say with ADHD and like rejection, we take it like almost like a death, like the same sort of like feelings as like if someone close to you died, that's how you would feel. And I tell you, when I went through a really bad breakup, I've never been so devastated in my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this what everyone feels like?
big feels.
It's a loss.
It's a huge
It's a loss. Yeah.
And like I still find myself doing it these days. Like I'm very much a people pleaser. And I'm like really like pulled back and I'm like, no, you need to stand up for yourself. Like the way what they're doing isn't right. Like you shouldn't be just like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like so many times when my friends would like hurt me in the past, I'm like, it's okay. Like we can still be friends.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, no, I want to be like, it's okay. But I'm like, no, like, you can't do that. But yeah, ADHD is like, I've done a lot of research on it now. And I'm like, that's why I do that.
Yeah.
That's why I do that. And like I did well in school, which is why it wasn't picked up when I was younger because it was one of my interests. So I loved school. I loved learning and I loved like science and maths and like anything with like exact answers, whereas English was like,
it can be fluffy.
oh no. I'm like, you want me to critically think? Pfft, no way. It's got to be black and white.
Yeah.
And I excelled in the things that I loved. And I was like, well, that's why I was never picked up because I wasn't naughty. I didn't have any like behavioral issues. I was extremely forgetful.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Like
Extremely forgetful.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Exhibit A.
procrastination. So I would work so much better under
forgetful.
a deadline.
That
was a perfect example of ADHD. So like I would always leave my assignments to the last minute.
Yeah.
And I would always ace them because under pressure,
Yeah.
I was like, right, let's
We were talking
go.
about this last night, Kate. Literally.
Literally.
Yeah. Do you find it helps you stick to a routine better though? Like if you had to wake up at 3 a.m. every morning, for instance, you could do it because if you don't wake up at 3 a.m., you felt like you've failed at the day now because the plan you had set. No,
that's not me.
Okay.
I will wake up if I have somewhere to be.
Yeah.
If I don't, if I have no responsibilities and nowhere to be, you will find me in bed till as like 11, 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
like before I had Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless I had plans or somewhere to be, bed.
Yeah. What time do you guys get up usually?
Depends if I'm
Depends
working
if
or
you're
not.
working or not.
Well, I get up when Lucy gets up at like 6:30.
Yeah.
If I'm working, it's like 3:30, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get up at 7.
Nice work.
Thank you, Kate.
Me too.
I was about to say,
So good.
I was about to say, when Kate is back in her routine, what time will Kate get up? But I don't need to anymore.
No, when I'm back in my routine,
It'll be all different, won't it?
Yeah.
5:30.
It'll be different because you have different shifts, or
Yeah, so if I'm on earlier, probably earlier than 5:30 actually.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
Because they've got
club.
that car park closed down in the hospital now, so
Yeah. What a fuck around.
parking's going to be awful.
Yeah.
So I don't know, 5.
Yep.
That's tough.
I hate the morning. I'm not a morning person. Like yesterday for gym, I was like, what was my alarm? Like 5:30. I was like, oh, this bitch better be going.
Yeah.
She sends me a message the night before. Still good for gym.
Yeah.
I'm just confirming because I'm not rocking up and being like, so how'd you go friend today?
And I had like a really rough night with Lucy the night before. I'm like, I should just cancel. And I'm like, God, no.
Yeah.
No.
The wrath of cake.
Someone is there
You
waiting
have
for
to
you.
face me on Sunday morning as well. So.
Yeah. It's funny, the amount of adults who don't even have kids that still do that. Like they will only go if they're meeting someone there.
Because I was saying to Sean, he was just like, just go off Courtney's. And I'm like, no, but like I just get this, like I don't even get social anxiety, but some reason when you have to choose a partner, I do. Because I'm like, I don't want to be that person that's staying there without a partner. And then I also don't want to let that partner down. Like, because I know how Court and I train. And then if I'm with someone else, I'm just like, oh, I really don't want to be that shit partner that's like, can't keep up with you or anything like that. I'm just like,
yeah.
And that was us yesterday. We had a 3 and it was teams of 4. So we had to find one more person. And I'm like, well, I know the people in the gym. I'll go ask a few. And I got rejected twice. And I was like,
and he was like, she was like, okay, Sean, you find someone for
I was
us.
like, Sean, I said, I'm not asking another
You're not asking
person.
again.
Yeah.
I think rejected.
Yeah.
And then this girl come like trotting over.
Yeah, we're like,
she's like, she looked really fit. And we're like, oh God.
Yeah.
When's your next team of 4 Saturday?
I don't know. Maybe next. I can't do next Saturday, but I can do the Saturday after.
Organising next plans. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come down for a session. Yeah. Just to.
She was crazy. Bouts of 500-meter ski.
Yeah.
She was nuts. I was like,
Anyway.
so I told you she was fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was fit.
Yeah. So I was doing my 500 effort,
Like,
right?
if you want to do 250 and tag out. She's like, she looked up for the reach. She's like, yes.
Yeah.
I was like almost at the 250. I'm like, there's no way I've got another 250. Because like you kind of go faster because you're trying to like keep up with everyone. And I was dying and my triceps were burning and like I was like,
it's hard.
And Kate's like, do you want to swap at 250? I'm like,
Literally her face. I was like, good choice.
Sure. Hang on.
Save me.
Go back. Why are you up at 3 a.m. in the morning again?
3:30. So when I work over at
That's better.
yeah, 3:30.
Yeah.
Because I work over at Fitstop Adalia as well. So I live in Burdell.
Yeah.
And I work at Fitstop Adalia. And class starts at 5. So I get there at 4:30 to turn on lights, TVs, music, make sure everything's like up and running. If there's anything that's not right, I could have time to fix it. So that means leaving my house at 4 or just after to get there at 4:30. So I get up at 3, snooze like 3 times. And then I get up at like 3:45 and it's literally get dressed, go. Yeah.
So you snooze.
Oh, man.
I am one of
Sometimes.
the.
If my alarm goes off, I'm up.
Yeah.
It depends on the night I've had before. Like if I've had a rough night with Lucy, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then like, so I always set 3 alarms.
Yeah.
And then there's only been maybe one time where I've like stopped all 3 and been like woken up and be like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but if I don't set 3, I know I'm not going to wake up on the first one.
Yeah. I
Sean
feel
has
that's me.
8 alarms set.
What?
8.
What?
Do you know how nice that is for me? Hearing 8 alarms.
I would
at,
kick him out of
What
bed at 3.
increments?
Like,
1 minute apart
like
from?
2 minutes apart.
oh, that's even worse. Mine
Yeah.
is like my alarms are 7 minutes
I
apart.
look at his, like when he's setting his alarm and it's like a big list of this. I'm just like, mate, just get up.
Yeah.
the first one goes off, you're just like, poof.
Literally, I'm just like, you're disturbing me. Get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what I do? I set mine for 3:56 a.m.
Very precise.
Yep.
Yeah,
No, I'm a
we've
person,
gone
I was
over.
like, yeah.
We've gone over this. 3:56 a.m. And I will put my phone purposely out of reach so that
That's a
I
good
physically
idea.
sort of got to like move around a lot by the time 3:56 a.m. comes around to turn it off. If it's in arm's reach where I can just reach across and snooze or whatever, I find that I roll over and just go back to sleep. But if I physically have to sort of like sit up a bit and roll over, then I'm up. Try it, Sean.
I tried that and I didn't wake up and I missed work. Legit,
Yeah.
I've tried that several times because I'm that type of person who I've had the phone across this side of the other side of the room. I didn't hear it at all. I just woke up at like whatever time it was I had to wake up.
Yeah.
And I'm a routine person. I wake up every single day at like 5:30.
That's really healthy, actually.
Yeah, but I struggle to wake up because
Yeah.
I've got sleep apnea. So it's a little bit hard because when I am sleeping, I feel really tired when I wake up.
Yeah.
So I don't want to wake up super early, but I have to.
Yeah.
So I do.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and feel like someone's watching you? And like not a partner? There was a time there where I would wake up and like the clock would always be roughly the same,
Same
like
time.
2:10 or something.
Yep.
Have you ever
And
had sleep
yeah.
paralysis?
No, but I've
have.
heard it's like horrendous.
I've had it twice.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
is the scariest
What happened?
thing I have ever experienced in my life.
What happened?
So I like woke up. Well, I thought I was awake,
Yeah.
and So I was facing my side, and I woke up and I thought I saw like this like demon face, right? And I've like laid there and I couldn't move, couldn't scream. I was like, and like my partner at the time was like a hand away from me. I'm like, if I can just touch him, everything's going to be okay. But it was this oversensing, feeling of like dread, like something bad is going to happen to you right now if you do not like move. Wow. And I couldn't move and I couldn't move and I couldn't scream, couldn't talk. And I started crying. There was like tears coming out of my eyes.
Could
and
you close your eyes or?
I can't remember. Yeah. But couldn't move, couldn't speak, like nothing.
Wow.
And I was just like, and I just felt like there was this presence of somebody beside my bed, or something, not even somebody, like something scary was like beside my bed.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel.
Oh, it was awful. And then like you finally just like snap out of it. And as soon as I like snapped out of it, I like grabbed my partner and I was just like, I was shaking. Like I was like, it was insane. And then the second time I had it, it felt more like someone was sitting on me, on my chest.
I've heard that before.
And it wasn't scary as much this time, but again, I was just like, oh my God, can't move, can't talk.
That's so weird.
Nothing. And you feel awake. You feel wide awake.
Are you awake though? Like what is sleep?
I've looked into it and it's like there's some people that say like you kind of like are half awake but you're half asleep, and the part of your brain that's asleep is what controls like your movement and stuff like that. So you are technically like awake, but you can't do anything.
Yeah.
I've
heard about that.
So
scary.
when you're potentially like seeing demonic stuff in that though, what does that mean?
I don't know if it was like in the middle of a dream or if I don't know if you believe in that sort of stuff, if there was like a bad like spirit in the house or energy in the house.
I 100% do. Yeah. I love ghosts.
I like hearing stories.
Yeah.
But like I haven't had an experience. But like, so Sean was away recently and for 3 nights, and the first night I dropped him off at the airport quite late. I was like, we'll go home, settle Oakland. I had every light in the house on. I just get this weird energy. And then I think I fell asleep at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then next night came around and a girlfriend came around for dinner, and then she left. And it's so, like, I've said it to a few friends and like even relatives, and they're just like, no, it's you're a chicken at home. And I'm like, no. I'm telling you, I just have this weird, again, like I've never experienced anything. Nothing sinister was happening or anything like that. But like I'd go into Oakland's room and just feel uncomfortable. Like, weird. And it's interesting because then, so anyway, I packed up, I rang my dad 10 o'clock at night and I was like, can we come for a sleepover? So 2 dogs, Oakland, me, rock up to my parents at like 11 o'clock at night, slept like a dream. And then the next night I stayed at my parents as well, and Sean goes away in 2 weeks, so I'll be staying there again. But I was talking to another girlfriend about it, and I was saying I've got my nan's jewelry in Oakland's room, and I was really close to my dad's parents, my grandma and granddad, and like I was there when my granddad passed away and everything, and I was really close to my nan. And so she's got this crystal set that she gifted to me, and it's in Oakland's room, and there's a letter from her to me. And my girlfriend was like, I think it's your nan. I was like, oh, and again, like I don't know if I believe because I haven't, and then like part of me is like, I don't want to believe because then shit can become real kind of thing. So I'm like, I'd rather just be naive.
Paranormal activity.
Literally. Anyway, and she's like, just go in and in your head just be like, Nan, just turn it down. Anyway, so I did. And Sean hasn't gone away yet, but like at nighttime I haven't felt overly weird. So I don't know if it's in my head. I have no idea what to think about it. But and it was like years and years and years ago. I went and saw whatever they're called,
a medium.
And she was like, you've got a guardian angel, it's your nan. So I'm wondering if sort of like that could be what it is.
Does that scare you at all?
A little bit,
like, having a presence, even though it could be
it could be, it's obviously a good presence. Yeah. But again, part of me goes like, oh, is that opening that world to bad shit? And I'm like, I don't want to dabble in that at all. So and it's really interesting talking to friends who are just like, you're being stupid, like, and then other friends who are like, no, I experience stuff all the time. Like my house, I hear footsteps every night and doors closing, and if I was experiencing that, I'd be like selling our house immediately. So I'm like, no, like
well, after you told me that story, I was telling Kate another story. I was like, she's like, things that go bump in the night.
Yeah, literally.
Lucy woke up the other night at like 3 a.m. or something.
She's like telling me this. I'm like, no way.
And so I'm very worried about like home intruders.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so I was like feeding Lucy. It was like 3 a.m. and I'm like, that sounded like footsteps, and it sounded like someone came to come into Lucy's room and then backed out, and I missed it, and I was like, is there somebody in my house? And then I heard the footsteps, and then I heard a door close, and I was like, oh my God, someone's in my house. I was like, the dogs aren't going off. Like the dogs, if there was somebody in the house, the dogs would be going off. Like it's fine, everything's fine. And I was like, better, and I like put it back to bed, and I like creeped out of the house, and then went into Tate's room, and he's standing in the middle of his room, and I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? He's like, oh my God, Mom. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I heard Lucy crying. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, good Lord, I thought somebody was breaking into our house. Like, I'm like, if you're going to come into Lucy's room, come in. Like, like don't just
don't creep.
And then like footsteps at the door. And because I had promised him that I would take him to the gym with me the next morning. Yeah. And he was so worried that I was going to go without him that he was like waking up like throughout the night. And he came in at 5 a.m. He's like, Mum, are we going to the gym? And I'm like, we've still got 45 minutes left to sleep. Yeah. He was, because in the car, he's like, I was so worried you're going to come without me. And I was like,
bless him.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
I love
he just likes to be involved.
Yeah.
I get asked a lot if the mortuary is haunted and that sort of stuff. And there's a few of us that kind of think we've seen something, like, because we got all security cameras down there too. So we'll be in one area and we can see on the camera like us from the camera behind us sort of thing. And there's like orbs and stuff that we don't know if it's dust or whatever. But yeah, there's like a heap of you don't know whether you're seeing things, but I'm open to seeing things like that there. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
We see like orbs floating in and out of like the fridges and stuff like that. So
sorry, you said
sorry,
open
cut
to
you
it?
off then. Okay. Are you open to it?
100%. This is actually how we met.
Oh, true.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
I've told Kate about
I've
that
heard
weekend.
This story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so for all the listeners who may not know, or Courtney, if you don't know, we met through a mate called Keith, and we were filming the short horror film. I don't know if we can say the name because I don't know if we ever actually released it or not. Keith, I'm sorry.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress for the last 2 years.
Yeah. But
I'm on it, buddy.
The Ravenswood?
It's in Ravenswood. Yeah. And so Keith had studied a lot, actually. He has a PhD, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or
Keith's
master's.
clued on. Yeah, he's smarter than me.
He has a master's. He specialized in, sorry, Keith, if I'm getting this wrong, buddy. If you're listening to this, but I remember you talking to me about he talked to me about how he studied everything from biblical stuff to learning about every different denomination, like Buddhism, Hinduism, all that sort of stuff. He learned about everything demonology, and so they used to go out to Ravenswood to run the tours for the ghost tours and stuff like that. And we'd have chats all the time. Yeah. About all the stuff that they had seen, and like I have never actually seen anything technically, but I grew up in the church environment, so yes, I'm very open to the whole spiritual realm stuff, and for me, I've always been that person who I can watch 1,000 horror films and see the stories that happen. Obviously, a film is obviously represented as something, so it's not actually what's being seen. But for those people who the things happened to, that's what they saw.
Exactly.
And so film just takes that into a visualization for us to be able to see it. And I know what the tricks are. I'm never scared of it. But when it comes to the demons, stuff like that, I'm like, I've never ever been scared. I've felt presences before, but I'm just like, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good.
That's a good way to put it. I've felt plenty of presences, but I haven't been scared. The last time that something did freak me out was I heard a death breath.
Oh, what's a death breath?
A death breath is, so I had someone on the table. I started to make a few cuts and there's air inside them and they just exhale like a dead body. And they go, like that. Yeah. And it's quite normal. It's not like it doesn't happen to every person, but when you're in that room and you're sort of doing evisceration on a body, you're well aware that there's no way this person is still alive. So it just takes you off guard more than anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they're lifeless and they just exhale all the air as if it's a normal human being, and it just takes you off guard.
It would do.
Because everything's quiet. Well, we have music going on in the side sometimes, but just being sort of a couple of feet away from someone who presumably has been dead for days, just hear him go, like that. You're just like, oh, fuck. But yeah, it doesn't bad. It's quite a regular thing across the world. Yeah. But yeah, seeing orbs here and there, and they could be dust, we don't know, but there's just some things like there was one particular case there where when we'd go to put someone in the fridge door would keep closing. Like it just wouldn't stay open. We'd go to write their name on the board, the pen wouldn't work. So it's like, this person clearly does not want to be here.
Yeah.
Sort of thing and stuff like that. So there's little things like that. But yeah, it's not bad energy. It's just there.
Just energy.
You know, it's quite a spiritual job.
Yeah.
It would be.
I'd actually love to get one of my other work colleagues on just to talk about a heap of stuff. Maybe one episode.
That would be cool.
We have to decide what we can and can't talk about.
Yeah.
But we're working in that environment. It is a very spiritual thing too.
Yeah.
You know, like it just makes you realize that because there's a saying, a soul, like when a person dies, the body weighs 21 grams less than when they were alive. So it's quite like worldwide suggested that a soul is weighing 21 grams. Because that's the weight of that's the difference between the moment someone's alive to when they pass.
Interesting. Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 21 grams. There's a movie about it called 21 Grams.
There's a song called 21 Grams.
Really? That's fascinating.
So 21 grams is the weight of a human soul. It contains everything, every bit of love it gave someone, every thought, every talent. It all comes down to 21 grams, which is what, like 4 teaspoons of, say, sugar or something like that, which is nothing when you think about it. A whole person's life for 80 years or whatever comes down to 21 grams.
How do they measure that? Do they just measure them before they die and then they kill them?
Yeah, I don't actually know how they do it. Yeah.
That's an experiment, mate.
That's very precise.
Yeah, maybe. Well, when we get them down there, we weigh them and suddenly, whether it's just like an average of when they weigh them on a ward versus when they come down to us when we get there. I don't know.
Potentially.
Because, 21, all of us who have done sort of a lot of physical stuff, we know that, if you weigh your dry weight in the morning, and then at nighttime, you'd usually, or for me, because of the amount of calories that I was consuming, I was always 2.1 kilos heavier at the end of the day. Sorry, 1.7 kilos heavier at the end of the day, every single day without fail. 1.7 on the dot every single day. I was always 1.7.
Yeah,
but then the next morning, down.
Yeah, like water weight and stuff like that.
Yeah, just water weight.
Pee weight.
Overnight. Poo.
Yeah.
Big poo.
Poo-poos and pee-pees. You never know.
Well, isn't that magical though? Think about this, right? When you're
magical,
magical, isn't it?
Poo-poos and pee-pees.
Yeah.
Magical. When you go to bed, you could weigh, let's just say, 120 kilos for us. 120 kilos in the morning. Magically, you wake up and you're like 118 kilos.
Yeah.
Just like that overnight. You haven't done anything. You just lost weight. Where the fuck did the weight go?
It's all, water weight. Yeah. But I mean,
don't you breathe it out? Like you.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about. Like,
it's interesting
It's
though.
CO2.
Once things have settled.
Like, no, I've tested this.
That sounds really dumb, but like, I'm not going to.
I've tested this. I've tested the fact that I've tested it peeing in the morning and then not peeing. So I've weighed myself before I've peed and then after I've peed. And after I've peed is not that much extra weight.
No, it wouldn't be.
So where does the weight go?
Yeah, good question.
Where does the weight go? Does that mean my soul was actually worth more? It's like 2.1 kilo.
I feel like I should know this, but for some reason I don't. I'll ask one of the doctors.
Anyway.
Obviously, it's still burning calories while you're sleeping.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
So is it just burning it up and then
I feel like it's coming out
of
of your breath. Like I'm feeling, but I feel like that could be really wrong.
You know what? Actually, you know what? This is because this is cool. This is why I wanted to study.
Can we Google
physics.
this?
I really, Google it. I really wanted to study
Where
physics.
does your weight go when you sleep?
Because at the core of our body, we are just made up of water or atoms and what's the rest of it?
Molecules, atoms, everything. Yeah.
Organs.
Our organs are made up of atoms. But
Tissue.
So if we essentially carbon dioxide is I'm not a I'm not a
Physicist.
but I'm guessing you're probably onto something there because
Yeah, but you're breathing out carbon
I can't
dioxide.
find it.
you're breathing out carbon dioxide. Probably.
If does water evaporate though? So if we're so much water, does water evaporate in certain temperatures?
That's why you shrivel up when you're rigor mortis.
Yeah.
So this is also why I was going to say that if
Is it breathing out?
if you lose 21 grams after you've died, is that also from a scientific point of view?
Yeah. Is there a logical explanation?
Is there a logical explanation of why you would be 21 grams less of just water evaporation out of your body?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's your soul, right?
Is it
go
All right,
with it.
sorry. Yeah, it's your soul. You're
damn
right.
you.
All right,
So
answers.
fat is converted to carbon dioxide and water. So you do breathe out.
There you
Yeah.
go.
some of it.
Wow.
You
That's why
exhale the
she's the
carbon
PT.
dioxide. I was like, I know
Yeah.
this
That's unreal.
sounds stupid, but
Yeah.
it's not.
That's fascinating.
Well, that would be the only way to get it out when you're
you're
pee
sleeping.
yourself in
So can
bed.
you speed up the process of you expelling carbon dioxide to lose more weight?
Just keep hyperventilating.
then you go into respiratory arrest.
Just get a case of sleep paralysis and increase your heart rate tenfold. Yeah.
That's funny. Well,
Oh, sorry, to go back, Courtney. No, I've never experienced sleep paralysis. And I was going to actually
back
ask you
there.
a question about that, but I've totally forgotten now.
Yeah.
It sounds horrendous.
Yeah, no,
is.
And I'd love
don't
to
want
know
experience that at all.
why
awful.
people experience that. Like, is it certain people with like hyperreactive brains or outputs or stuff?
I
Or
definitely think that the ADHD might have something to do with it
Yeah.
because I have struggled with sleep my whole adolescence and that since I can remember. I don't think I did when I was a kid.
yeah,
Like
But
insomnia.
but from a teenager. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like trying to shut down at the end of the day. And it got to the point where I had to be watching TV so that I wouldn't be thinking
yeah.
about anything.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's how I would fall asleep. Because as soon as, and I'd have to put it on like a sleep timer because if I turned it off, instantly, ding, 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 ding,
ping, 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 ping,
bing,
ping,
bing,
ping,
bing,
ping,
bing,
ping.
bing, bing. And I couldn't go to sleep. Every worry I've ever had, every stress in my life, just comes flooding back in. And so I definitely think ADHD has a role in paralysis because I don't know if I'm actually resting fully when I'm asleep because I feel so wired before I go to sleep. And there's another thing with ADHD that I've read. I don't know how true this one is, but like when you go to bed at night, you stay awake for longer because you have no responsibilities. Nobody needs you. Nobody like you don't have to do anything. So you kind of like bask in this feeling of like no responsibility
Yeah.
and you want to make it last as long as you can. So it gets to like 1, 2 o'clock and you're like, oh, you're still like doom scrolling like
Yeah,
in
right.
this like
Like this sense of freedom.
reveling. Yeah, in this like, because you know, as soon as you wake up, you're going to be needed. You're going to be like,
Yeah.
all that stress is going to
true.
come back. And
Yeah.
so you're like, why are you so tired? Oh, because I was like reveling in my freedom last
Yeah.
night. Yeah. And I've always done that forever.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, there was a time not long ago where I was awake for over 24 hours.
Shit.
That's me on my first night shift.
Yeah.
When you had Lucy, so like
Yeah.
post bub.
This is after Lucy.
Yeah.
Could not for the life of me get to sleep, and I kept checking the time, and it was a day that I had to get up at 3:30 to go to work, and it was like 1 o'clock. I'm like, girl, you're going to get 2.5 hours sleep. You need to go to sleep right now.
Yeah.
2:30. You're going to get 1 hour's sleep.
Oh my God.
And then it got to like 3:15. I'm like, your alarm's going off in 15 minutes. Like, and you
Did
have
you go to
not.
work?
Yeah, went to work
Oh my God.
wow.
and felt fine. And I was like buzzing. I was like, yeah, this is great. On the drive home from work, this was about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. Holy moly. It was
Yeah.
taking every ounce of me
your
to
eyes open.
stay awake
Yeah.
and get home. And I was like, that was more dangerous than drunk driving.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to get out of my car and like do some star jumps or something to try and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
get some endorphins running because it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
know
I went
that
home and slept for 4 hours.
Got better.
Felt better, woke up and then slept all night the next night. But
Yes.
It's awful.
It
And
was
then you get like
so
this anxiety when
bad.
you can't sleep and you're like watching your alarm
yeah,
or
'cause-
like the time.
well, when I was at work
And-
and I was really like hyper, and I'm like, I feel like I'm never going to sleep again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I honestly had this feeling like, what if this happens again tonight?
Yeah.
And like I've just like kickstarted insomnia. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God,
There's a few friends actually postpartum that are going through that. Yeah.
it's awful.
Sounds like me leaving Kate's house that night after consuming a few things. Rainbow Road, Mario Kart. Yeah.
I'm taking his keys next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% taking his keys.
fight me. No.
like,
He's like, fight me.
yeah, literally useless.
Yeah.
Like you and Sean in that room.
Yeah.
in this room.
Yeah.
You can sort each other out.
We'll snuggle each other. We're good at that.
He drools.
Yeah. That's all right. So do I.
You'd be Little Spoon for sure.
I'd be Little Spoon? Yeah. As long as I have a cuddle pillow.
Imagine walking into that to seeing Ben and Sean like little big spoon little.
Especially because Sean's smaller than Ben.
literally. It's so funny.
Yeah. Legs
Sean-
legs actually like intertwined
He
sort of
would
thing
wrap
too.
around you. He's like a rapper.
He's a little koala bear?
He's a
Nice.
koala.
He could be my little koala bear. Yeah.
And then Ben cuddling a pillow.
Yeah. I need it.
Me too. I need it.
I need a
I
cuddle
love
pillow.
just to cuddle. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm exactly the same.
But like in between the legs.
Yes.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
can't have my knees touching.
Me
Yeah.
either. I hate that.
I'm just saying. It internally rotates my hips too much, and I find they're fucked in the morning.
If I go to a hotel and there's one pillow, I'll like use a towel or something just to chock my legs up.
Yeah.
Like just can't do it.
Yeah, and I hid
Can't
that
do
about me for so long, hey.
Yeah.
For years, I was like, I can't let anyone know I cuddle the pillow. I'm a 37-year-old man, and I'm cuddling a pillow. It has to be
Yeah.
a certain pillow too.
Yep.
I have a special pillow. It's a thicker one.
We've spoken about this pillow.
You know, like, yeah. But at the moment, I'm like, fuck it. No, the world needs to know, man. It's okay for 37-year-old men
cuddle
to
a
have a
pillow.
cuddle pillow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I need it.
I have a cuddle
Drool
pillow.
a little, just sniff it. at
Oh
the
my
same
God.
It's like your baby.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, give me a sniff.
Yeah, sniff the baby, sniff the pillow.
Oh, that's so
But
funny.
I think the
perfectly
baby would smell
normal.
better than the pillow.
What was that?
I think the baby smells better than the
Oh
pillow.
God, 100%.
My pillow smells masculine. Thank you very much.
Masculine.
Bet it does.
Ooh, sweaty. Dear Lord. Alrighty. Well, look, we need to start wrapping this up, but we had a couple of other things we wanted to talk about, but we didn't quite get to both of them.
Oh, they'll come back on again.
Yeah, you can definitely come
We can
back.
have a
One
second
thing I want to find out though is nursing for you, Kate.
Yes.
What about you're about to go back to your first shift? Yeah, how
Yeah.
you feeling?
I'm actually excited. Yeah. So
Yeah?
I've been doing a course leading up to going back to work actually, which has kind of enabled me to like dabble back into that healthcare mindset without going back, because I was extremely nervous because obviously emergency, like it doesn't stop. And nurses can also not be the kindest sometimes, like, oh, she doesn't know that or anything. Like I have to
Yeah.
admit, like, well, I have been there for 12 months, but I love the team in emergency. Like everyone's a vibe, really supportive. But sometimes there can always just be that person that throws in that hit and you're just like, oh, I don't know that. Or you just second guess yourself or you doubt yourself. So obviously being off work for a while, like not hanging, doing things, I was feeling nervous. But during the course, I'm excited. And it's just nice running into people in like the shops and stuff. And it's like, oh, when are you back? I'm looking forward to having you back. And it's like, oh, like, you know, people looking forward to seeing me around again. And I think as well, like I said before, like reestablishing my identity again, like
Yeah.
going back to work. Yeah, I like my job. So I don't like shift work.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a challenge in itself because I'm not the best like day sleeper when I'm on nights. And so I rely on those heavy sleeping pills. Otherwise I just don't sleep and then I'm a dragon.
Yeah.
Dragon.
But no, I'm excited. And
Yeah.
like, because emergency is a vibe. Like it's busy. There's always something to talk about. So,
Yes.
But part of me, like I think because I was going on mat leave, like I was getting very ready to go. So I just hope my mindset stays in that like fresh, because it's very easy to obviously emotionally drain yourself as a nurse as well. Because some of our patients aren't the nicest. Most of our patients aren't the nicest and just take us for a ride.
Yeah.
And there's just no thankfulness or anything.
Yeah.
But it is, I like my job
Yeah.
and my team. Like the team there is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must deal with some proper like nutcases sometimes.
Just assholes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you've brought yourself here, so don't take your shit out on me. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you. And
Yeah.
they yell and scream and crack a tanty or
Yeah.
it's just, it's people don't understand like it's taken us a lot to get here. Like there's a lot of study involved. We have like our management has very high standards of like what we're obviously delivering. It's a very high stress job. Like if you start with medication, like you could kill someone. Like obviously just depending what you're giving, because it's not just like it's fine for the doctors to prescribe it, we're administering it. So like in uni, it's always nailed into us like double check what the doctors are. So you almost have to know like you do have to know what you're giving obviously, but you need to be thinking like a bit of a doctor's cap as well? Like, is this, you know, is this contraindicated? Like, can you give this at the same time? Like, so you're always kind of like, it's scary, like, because you're putting shit straight into someone's vein, especially if they're like, you know, they got chest pain. It's a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of responsibility. I know some nurses, many nurses who in some ways do more than doctors sometimes.
100%.
And well, you're thinking ahead, like you want to, because obviously the doctors are flooded, like they're very busy as well. Like if not, like they're just as busy, and you want to like obviously be taking some pressure off them as well to be like, you know, do you want these done or already getting them done ahead of them? And like, and it's almost like it's a nice clap when the doctor's like, oh, can we do this? And you're just like, I've done it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and it's nice when a doctor's like, she's a good nurse. Like I can rely on her, like without being like, fuck, like I have to go and do X, Y, Z or anything. So it's, and you like,
that's great.
Like you're wanting to please a lot of people at once. Like you've got obviously your like direct colleagues and you've got your multidisciplinary teams, like that's coming down as well. And sometimes you're in leadership positions there as well. So like you've got a small team underneath you. Which is challenging because then you have to sort of work out like what qualities everyone has as well, like if people can get this done and what they know and what they don't know, because nurses like to sometimes pretend they know a lot more than they do.
Yeah.
And I just think the one like I've always been like not afraid to ask questions. If I don't know something, put my hand up and ask, because whereas like a lot of senior nurses get the shits with like junior nurses because they're like, I've got this. And they actually have no idea. Whereas like ask the question, do it right the first time, learn from it, and then you know what to do without being like, yeah, I can do it. Then you fuck around for an hour.
Yeah.
And because you don't know what you're doing, you're looking it up instead of just asking a senior nurse who'll show you.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like be very respectful of your more experienced nurses, because there are some awesome nurses in that department that want you to ask for help.
Yeah.
So I'm big on asking for help.
Yeah.
Again, back to the asking for help thing.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Just tied that in.
It was reminding me of a story. I did know a nurse as she was studying, and when she got put on the ward for like the first times and sort of, you know, the training wheels were off, she was going, I don't fucking know this. I don't fucking know this. I'm freaking out. They're putting more responsibility on me than what I know. And it's like she really found it hard to just go up to them and say, look, I actually don't really know what you want here.
Yeah.
Purely, because of that thing,
that
not
would be
wanting
me.
help. Yeah. And I remember saying to her so often, like, they wouldn't have given you this task if they didn't believe you can do it. Like, you're a nurse, what you do could potentially save someone's life. So they're not just going to throw you in an area where you can go south and like really make things wrong.
You can go
They've got
ham.
faith in you, just ask.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Like when I go back, because they've got all new like pumps and machines, I actually won't know how to take a blood pressure. So I've got a day of supernumerary, so I'll have a nurse with me, thank God.
I don't take mine.
And
Jesus.
And I'm going to be that person who's like, I know what to do clinically, like in my head, but like the procedures change all the time.
Yeah.
So
book smart and practical smart.
I've got a day to just like learn the road again and everything, and then I'll be hopefully fine.
Yeah.
But I am nervous. I'm excited but nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you would be. Well, public announcement.
Publican.
You know, tip of the day, whatever you want to say it is. Fucking
suck at
respect your nurses,
Yeah,
people.
respect us.
Yeah.
Respect
Come
nurses.
in and don't come in for a sore. Well, in like my case where I broke my toe, but I was hobbling around. I kind of had to go in and get it realigned.
Don't call the ambulance if you've got a splinter at home. It'll be fine.
Just wait. There's isn't there like an emergent care now place in Kerwin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't come in for scripts. Like we're going to put you in the waiting room for a while because there's other things that need dealing with.
Yeah.
Our doctors don't have time to be there to write a new script for your pain relief. Like go and see your GP.
Yeah.
Just respect us because we're trying our best.
Yeah. Because no doubt one day your life will be in the hands of a nurse. Most likely at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We are trying our best.
Yeah.
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 And care. We all care.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be there if we didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if not, I'll be seeing you.
Yeah.
Be kind.
At the mortuary. If you didn't pick that up.
It's morbid.
One extreme to the other. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only job where you say to people, I hope I don't say see you later.
Yeah. Because we're all like, sorry to drag on, but like, it's like, you know, you're doing shift work, you're doing overtime. Like, it's like nurses are very fatigued.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, very fatigued.
Yeah.
And I completely understand why.
And now you've got a
it's
kid.
Just, and now and a lot of them are mums. Most of them are mums.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or not, doesn't matter if you're mum or not, but like we have lives outside of that hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people forget that because you're in there and it's like, but you know, you're there to look after me. And it's like,
Yeah.
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 And I'm not saying like bring your shit to work. People are tired
Yeah.
and they're doing their best. They're doing doubles. Like a lot of people doing doubles. That's 16 hours of emergent care.
Yeah.
That is hard.
Yeah.
Like really hard.
Yeah.
Being
100%.
on for 8 hours is hard enough, let alone a double.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. Love my job.
Get back
Courtney
into
falling
it.
asleep over there in the chair.
No.
She's like an old nana. Just
I'm only 29.
I'm only 29. Love that.
Hang on to that.
Cool. All right, let's wrap up this podcast then.
lovely.
Thank you both for coming back on today.
Little C and Kato.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. That was good.
I like
Yeah.
doing it with Kate.
Yeah.
She's not allowed to do it with anyone else now.
No.
Okay.
She's bagged me.
Yeah.
I've bagged her.
She's my best friend.
I was like, I almost grabbed the bit. I was like, where is she?
Opens MySpace, moves friends to top of the list. Yeah.
Close friends on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah.
The green
The
banner.
green circle.
Yeah. Yeah. You're my best friend now.
I'm the captain.
Yes, exactly. All right.
That's
Thank
funny.
you so
Thanks,
much for
guys.
coming
Thanks
on.
very much, guys.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the next episode. All the links to everything we do is down below. So just go and check that all out. And we'll talk to you soon.
Catch us later.
See ya.
See ya.
I see people.
All right. And that's the episode title. I see people.
I see people.
Oh, dear Lord. Start busting into song too. It's like Louis Armstrong. I see trees.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah. Courtney was one of our first.
Yeah.
Actually,
She
Sean
wa-
was one of our first too.
I think, wasn't Courtney your first wild card?
Yeah.
Second wild card.
First,
No, Tay was second. Yeah.
Oh, you're
don't take
Yes.
my place,
You're
Jay.
right. Oh, my Lord.
That is, I'm taking that crown.
I was first.
Yeah. Take control. We don't really care.
Thank Courtney.
All right.
First wild card.
Yeah. I wouldn't even be mad if you did that. You might remember me from the original.
Remember me?
I'm the OG.
I'm holding that crown.
Yeah.